The following portion of Loving Living Local is sponsored by MUSC. Hi, welcome back to Loving Living Local. We're here today at MUSC with Dr. Dan Judge. Doctor, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, now we're talking about your research project. You're the head of the research project in our DNA.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, thanks, Libby. So my first disclosure is that this wasn't my idea. This was MUSC's program, and what we decided at the medical university a few years ago was to try to use genetics more. So this program that we have been doing now for 2 years takes anybody who participates, looks at their DNA, and gives you the results of a few things that we know are actionable. That means that we're able to do something about it.
Talk us through the process.
Well, the first part is, of course, figuring out what it's all about. So you have to go through a long consent form, and I apologize about that, but it's important. Anytime we do a program like this at MUSC, we're held to pretty strict standards of making sure everybody knows what they're getting into. At the end, you sign up online, electronically. And from there, you go to a site, and any one of our labs will be able to provide the opportunity to give you a saliva sample. So it's just spitting into a container. It has to have the right label on it, and in a few weeks, we get results back to people. Those results focus on 3 conditions initially. Breast cancer. Breast and ovarian cancer are often run together, and 2 genes there are called BRCA or BRCA genes. Colon cancer, that runs in families, and we can find genetic causes for colon cancer. And then high cholesterol, the most common cause of heart disease. So when you sit back and think about the 2 most common causes of death in South Carolina, heart disease and cancer, 1 and 2, and these are targeted at exactly those conditions.
You're working to prevent these, to find solutions before.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly the right philosophy. These, I mentioned before, they're actionable, which means that if we find someone has a tendency or a genetic predisposition to one of these conditions, we can do something about it. We can look for cancer, we can find polyps before they turn into colon cancer, we can do MRIs before you're at an age where it would otherwise be recommended. We can start medicines to lower your cholesterol or just improve your diet and your lifestyle to improve your cardiovascular risk.
Now, when you talk about DNA and shipping it out, you worry about security. How is it different here?
Well, we're a healthcare organization, and we take that very, very seriously. Anything that's done in genetics right now, there's a community sense of knowing what's common and what's rare, what occurs at the DNA level that's shared among all of the groups around the world that do genetic information. So we remove any identifying information, your name, your date of birth, your location, anything specific about you gets removed other than the DNA information and then your medical codes. Every condition you might have, high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever that might be, is entered into your medical records as a code, and we can put those codes together with the DNA sequence to see whether there's patterns. That's the research side of it, where we can identify genetic causes for conditions that are otherwise hard to figure out. And it's about 1 in 70, really, that signs up and finds out that they have a tendency or a genetic predisposition to a condition that we're looking for. Well, we hook you up for a genetic counseling appointment. That's done for free. It's done virtually, meaning through the phone or a computer or something like that. And we talk through what are the ways to be proactive about it, not to see this, as you mentioned before, as something that you're predestined to have or something that's inevitable. It's certainly not inevitable. In fact, our goal is the opposite. We think of it as knowledge is power. If we can find the genetic tendency and prevent disease, then we're doing what we want to do.
This is John Payne, a participant in the research for NRDNA. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm so pleased.
Yes. Now, John, why did you join? Why did you sign up for this program?
When my daughter Lindsay left us, she passed from triple negative breast cancer. I tried to figure out what happened, and the doctors asked me if I knew my DNA. And I said, what's DNA? I didn't know anything about DNA. So I found out from them that my DNA that was passed on to her was significant in why she did not survive the triple negative breast cancer. This was a big deal. And I wanted to be part of helping people know why they should be tested.
Well, thank you, and I'm sure Lindsay's really proud of you.
I appreciate it. I know she's helping us.
Well, we're joined here with Mtry, who is a participant in NRDNA. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I heard of precision medicine that's more specific to my DNA, and that I can learn a little bit more about my DNA and pass on to my children and grandchildren.
So the process is pretty easy.
The process is very easy. So all you have to do is wait for the box to arrive at your home. Once this arrives at your home, you go ahead and, if you have a MyChart account at MUSC, you can go and log on. If you don't, the instructions will be inside on how do you log in to get a MyChart account. So all of the information is there. And then also the other instructions on what needs to be done and whatever needs to be done is here. Everything will be in the box for you when it comes to your home. So all you have to do is pull everything in, mail it off, and it's in the process. Trust the mail system. I made sure that it was done myself, and everything is excellent.
The preceding portion of Loving Living Local was sponsored by MUSC.